As returning officer Kampala, I at this moment declare Lukwago Erias who has the highest number of votes, the elected Lord Mayor of Kampala City.
The office locked for quite a long time, over 2 years now. All machinations that were perpetrated by President Museveni to not only whittle down the powers of the office of the Lord Mayor, but to completely disenfranchise the people of Kampala. They tried to tinker with the law so that they scrap the adult suffrage in Kampala. And many were quick to write my political eulogy to say Lukwago is finished. I'm glad I'm still alive and kicking. I am honored again to once again get another tenure or to renew my mandate as the Lord Mayor of Kampala. Yes, this is not the final tally, but it's a very, very sweet victory. Why? Because it has not come easy. It has been a tough journey. 5 years ago, I stood in this very hall to make to issue a statement upon being declared the duly elected Lord Mayor of Kampala. And I remember making a statement that seemed to have rubbed President Museveni the wrong way. I said, and I'm on record, at that time I did not defeat Peter Sematimba, but I defeated President Yoweri Museveni. He didn't take it lightly. He took offense and he issued a stern warning that unless I apologized to him, I wouldn't enjoy the trappings of power at State Hall. I stood my ground and maintained that this position belongs to the people of Kampala. Not because I was stubborn, not because I did not respect the person of President Museveni and the office he holds, because he's the fountain of honor. It's the highest office in the land. But because I respected the ultimate authority of the people, the sovereign authority of the people who had elected me. I felt it was an insult for President Museveni to demand an apology from me for a crime I believe I never committed. Five years down the road, the wheel seems to be coming full circle. President, throughout the campaign trail in Kampala, President Museveni has launched a barrage of attack against me, to the extent that he has been using derogatory remarks against not only myself but members of the opposition, to the extent that he described some of us as rats. I take exception of that statement as a person who was duly elected by the people of Kampala. And the President Museveni, who went to the bush chanting the slogans of revolution, now he's negating the ideals of the revolution he championed, not respecting the will of the people. what is happening right now. What is happening right now? I may not repeat the same statement in the exact words, but there is a Luganda saying, there is an adage in Luganda, nti obuwangazi bwe mese bugiriisa ku ddiba lya kapa. Yes, we are rats. Naye mese eridde ku ddiba lya kapa olwaleero. I'm glad I've taken a bite at the skin of something I wouldn't wish to mention. I'm just using that Luganda saying. Having said that, I want to reiterate my firm position on this. I have nothing personal against the person of the president. I have nothing personal against NRM as a political party. I have nothing personal against whoever subscribes to the ideology that is espoused by President Yoweri Museveni. But I maintain my firm position. My firm position with this new mandate entrusted to me. I will not succumb to any form of intimidation. I will not succumb to any form of manipulation or capitulate to his maneuvers. Because President Museveni believes in the politics of patronage. I would respect any person holding the office of the president, but I will not capitulate to any form of patronage. Finally, I still maintain the position that we need to transform Kampala into a modern metropolis, into a modern capital city, befitting the power of Africa, based on a shared vision. I pledge to work with a team of the councillors that have been elected by the people. I'm glad and happy that almost all the councillors who gave me hard time have not been returned by the electorate, because the electorate holds the ultimate authority to decide who should be returned to State Hall or not. They have given a new team of leaders, and my call to this new team: let's cooperate, let's work together, let's build rapport, let's build the synergies, let us deliberate on policy issues for the good of our capital city and for the good of our country. Finally, I have a list of priorities, because this is very, very important. It's very, very important. The leadership at State Hall right now is not anchored on the will of the people. So what we need to do right now is to reconstitute the governance structures in Kampala. That's very, very urgent. We must rebuild the structures. We must reconstitute the authority. We must bring together the system which is now in shambles, which is in disarray. Right now, Kampala is governed by a decree. We want to restore the rule of law in Kampala and the system of good governance. That's priority number one. Because it's only a vibrant, robust authority that will deliver the services you crave for, that will deliver the capital city you want. I'm amenable to advice. I'm amenable to criticism, and also all sorts of other things that come with good governance. I believe in checks and balances. I'm not an alpha and omega for the city and for all the programs. I pledge to work with the councillors given, elected by the people of Kampala. So in prioritizing the programs, we need to get into the key sectors. We must deal with the floods, the rampant floods in Kampala. As soon as I enter State Hall, one thing I have to embark on is to push for the reconstruction of the main drainage channels, the trunk channels, Nachivubo, Rubiji, Namuongo, and Nalukolongo. Without working on that, there is no way we can transform this city. 2, we must come up with a new structural plan for the transformation of Kampala. I campaigned on a platform of rule of land accountability. Of course, it translates into sustainable development or equitable development, and you can talk of sustainable transformation of the capital city. There is no way. I must emphasize this. There is no way we are going to transform this capital city, Kampala, into a modern capital city by merely posturing. There is too much posturing in Kampala. Too much posturing. To hoodwink Ugandans that there is a steady progress, whereas there is none. Because you have to start with a blueprint. Right now, the blueprint is not there. I've mentioned this time and again. We have to dig a foundation for the reconstruction of Kampala. A Kampala that will be functional, a Kampala that will accommodate millions of Ugandans today, tomorrow, and years to come. So, we must have a new structural development plan, a new structural plan, realigning all these key issues like clearly, coming up with the programs for the neighborhood planning, how to reconstruct structures in Kampala, the kind of structures we want in Kampala, in which particular area or zone. There must be a clearly demarcated or gazetted industrial area. We must have a commercial hub clearly defined, because now this talk of a central business district is haphazard. We must have things to, an area which is clearly gazetted as administrative zone or corridor, and so on and so forth. We must plan for our transport system. Right now, we do not have a transport policy. That must be planned. We must plan for the infrastructure. I've mentioned we have 1,200 kilometers of the road network, and we can't do away with the congestion, with the traffic jam in Kampala, unless we reconstruct all these roads to required standards. These roads, 1,200 kilometers, because right now it's just 460 kilometers, which is tarmac. There is no way you can do that. We already got money from World Bank to $175 million US for that particular project. 175 million under KIDIP, Kampala Institution and Infrastructure Development Project. Part of that money is to reconstruct the drainage system, to reconstruct the road network, and also to work on the transport system. And there are other things to do with flyovers. There are quite a number of flyovers we should have in Kampala, and they were well planned for. There is a report, as I conclude, there is a report which was presented to us by a team of consultants we hired from Israel and South Africa. Right now it's gathering dust in our shelves in State Hall, but it is very, very instructive on how we can transform Kampala into a modern capital city. We sank in a lot of money, and right now it's not being put to use. So I'll reactivate it immediately. I assume office at State Hall. Finally, accountability. There is no compromise on that. No compromise on issues of accountability, because this is the hallmark of accountable governance, transparency. Right now, it's a taboo. It's a taboo to talk about accountability. Actually, one of the crimes I committed at State Hall is to insist on transparency, to insist on accountability. You cannot spend colossal sums of money, taxpayers' money, and also monies from donor partners, development partners, donations and whatnot, without giving full audited accountability. That is not acceptable in my government. I will not accept to compromise on that. Immediately I assume office, I will table these matters to the authority to demand for a comprehensive audit of the administration of KCCA. We are going to have a comprehensive audit. We are going to audit all the contracts they have given out. Because right now we don't have a contracts committee in place. You get somebody, she will sit in her office there. She imagines that, oh, this contract for reconstruction of this road should be given to such and such company. Then immediately she presses a call to somebody, kindly get in touch with so and so, that contract is given. Things are done just like that. This money is squandered, spent on carnivals, which are not priorities. We are going to have a comprehensive audit. I must emphasize this. I'm going to present it to the authority. I'm not saying I will push it down the throats of the councillors. I'm going to present it before them and make a good case for a full, comprehensive audit of all the transactions they have executed. During this time, they have locked the office of the Lord Mayor. During this period, when the office of the Lord Mayor has not been functional, actually when the council has not been sitting, because the law requires that they should produce regular reports, quarterly reports, annual reports, and so on and so forth, for audit purposes. Now we are going to commission a comprehensive audit. And this one, I'm sure, if there are institutions to do with accountability and they are still functioning, heads may roll if they can call these people to order. Because I know there are funds they cannot account for. They spent a lot of money up to now on the tribunal process. Quite a lot of money in hotels, accommodation, bribes and whatnot. We want to know how much was spent on the botched impeachment of the Lord Mayor. I must emphasize that. That was taxpayers' money. Today they cannot tell you how much was paid to Justice Bamugemereire. How much? And all those members who sat on the tribunal. We need to know. We need to know how much was paid to Metropole. To Metropole Hotel, where they sat for over a month. We need to know all those councillors who were sitting there and getting sitting allowances in the tribunal. So they had come to witness the proceedings or to give testimonies against the Lord Mayor. And it turned out to be a farce. It turned out to be an exercise in futility because it was stopped by courts of law. We need to know how much has been given to all the councillors without sitting, because those are allowances and so on and so forth. And I've mentioned all these contracts and so on and so forth. So it's all that is going to be captured in a comprehensive audit, and we need to get that report, which subsequently we shall seek to present to other relevant organs of government, including Parliament, the IGG, and the other institutions for further management and action, because we do not have the mandate to take punitive action or to reprimand anyone. Ours is to investigate and present to the relevant organs. So there are quite a lot of other things, other programs, which shall be rolled out in due course. But the message I'm sending across to President Yoweri Museveni, yes, I know it's against his will that I'm returning to State Hall. He very much wanted to block my way to State Hall. But with the resurgence of the power of the people, he has been swept aside. I can see the road to State Hall is now clear. I don't see any other stumbling block in the way. Let him not attempt again to create more roadblocks. Because now I'm sure he should be at the drawing board, back to the drawing board, to see how we can block the return of Lukwago. to stay whole. President Museveni shouldn't waste his time on that. Again, I promise him that mine is a fight for rule of law. It's not about a personal fight, but a fight for rule of law, constitutionalism, and good governance. So, if he's engaging in personal battles, I may not have time for him. Mine is about rule of law, constitutionalism, and good governance. If it were not for the respect I have for elders, I would have demanded that he retracts the statement, the disparaging statement, denigrating statement, the derogatory remark he made against the people of Kampala and the opposition leaders, including my brothers, the MPs, that we are rats. Let me be clear on this. If it were not that he is our elder, I don't want to be seen like calling for an apology from a person who is assuming the head of state, the position of the head of state, the fountain of honor right now. Though I believe it is illegitimate, but I must emphasize that he shouldn't. I mean, I would have called for that. Finally, or lastly, now that Kampala is almost 100% in the hands of the opposition. All the MPs are opposition. 95% I can predict, yes, more councillors, I mean, some of the councillors' seats have not been declared. The tally is still ongoing. But I'm sure the projection is in the region of 95% opposition, the councillors. Let him not cause a standoff. Because his perception, which is very, very unfortunate, that members, I mean political leaders who subscribe to a party other than NRM or to any other political philosophy, not NRM, are criminals. When he looks at Lukwago, in his eyes and mind, he sees a criminal. Let him not. No, my appeal to him to realign, with all due respect, to realign his mindset towards a constitutional order which guarantees the right of individuals to stand on any political platform. Let him not be driven, let him not be tempted to deny services to the people of Kampala on that account alone, that you people, you committed suicide, therefore you are not giving you quality services. So that issue must be resolved. And I'm making a humble appeal, and I'm being honest, that President Museveni should not insist that now that the people of Kampala have chosen, they have elected largely opposition politicians, therefore they have committed suicide, and all development ventures in Kampala should be suffocated on that account alone. Because that would be a treason, that would be a violation of the Constitution, that would be inimical to development. I've said that, I've said all that in the name of the people of Kampala who have entrusted me with this mandate, and for the good of our country, for God and my country. I thank you.